Al-Baqarah, which means the cow, is the second chapter in the Quran. It's also the longest. It's named after a story described in verses 67 to 74. The story takes place during the time of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, and his people, the children of Israel. A wealthy man was killed by his nephew to inherit his money. The nephew then left his uncle's body in another village, hoping someone else would be blamed for the murder. When the villagers found the body, accusations began to fly, as people began blaming one another. The elders in the village turned to Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, for guidance. God then revealed his command to Moses, ordering his people to sacrifice a cow. They were doubtful, though, of his command, and accused Moses of mocking them. They sarcastically asked him what kind of cow, and what color should it be. God revealed to Moses that it had to be a bright yellow cow that was neither old nor young. After a long search, they finally found a cow that fit the description. It belonged to a young man who lived with his mother. They were both very poor, and the cow was the only thing his late father left them. Because of that, the price to sell the cow was very steep. He asked them for the cow's size in gold. Out of desperation, they ended up paying. After slaughtering the cow, God ordered them to strike the victim's body with a portion of the cow. After doing that, the man came back to life and immediately identified his nephew as his killer, and then died again. This was a stunning moment for all who witnessed. God was showing the children of Israel how he can resurrect the dead. This was important because many among the children of Israel at the time had begun to doubt the whole notion of life after death, and their belief in the day of judgment began to waver. A large portion of this chapter talks about the children of Israel, particularly during the time of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him. They are mentioned as an example of a nation that came before us, that we should not emulate. This is important because the main goal of this chapter is to establish our role as the human authority responsible for this planet. Now let's look at the 5 main parts to this chapter that we will be looking at more closely. The first part identifies 3 types of people that exist, and the key differences between them. We then learn about the importance of worshiping God, and are introduced to the story of Adam, peace be upon him, and how humans came to exist. The chapter then focuses on the example we mentioned before, the children of Israel, and some of the mistakes they made and how to avoid them. We then learn about the story of Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, how he devoted his life to God, and how his example is one we should all follow and try to emulate. Finally, we learn about what it means to be Muslim and the laws God prescribed to us to help us live a successful and fulfilling life. These 5 parts come together to show us a blueprint of how to live our life in a way that pleases God and keeps us on the straight path, and how to avoid the mistakes of those who came before us. In the next video, we will look at each of these parts in more detail.